What's up everyone, Jill here. Welcome back to the farm. Today I'm in the house because it is pouring down rain outside. It is gross, it is nasty, it's not at all what I had on my list of things to do. However, this was a great opportunity. So today I'm doing my pantry inventory, and so I have got this notebook on a clipboard in my pantry, and I do this monthly. And essentially at the top of my list I've got here holiday baking, but if I have some sort of event or we know we're hosting several times in that month, I'll put that at the top of this list. That way I know I need to buy extra for those things. And then I kind of have it categorized here. So I've got canned goods, fruits, nuts and grains, and they'll just kind of be like extra things. And essentially as I'm going through the pantry and I'm noticing that I'm out of stock of something, I'll write that on there, how many I need, and it kind of gives me a good assessment when I get ready to buy groceries. So something that we are trying to do better at is buying in bulk. So we do have, you know, I guess a decent sized family. We're a family of 5. Charlie goes to a school where you have to provide lunch and snacks and breakfast. And so for us, you know, I'm having to think through lunch ideas. I'm having to, you know, think through other things. And my kids also, we kind of have free reign, if you will. Any healthy snacks, fruits, vegetables, they have access to when they are hungry. And so that means oftentimes they, you know, might want an apple and then they want to follow that with some dates and crackers. And so I want to make sure that I'm always, you know, having enough. However, buying in bulk for certain things is super efficient and sustainable. And our bulk butter, I mean, we buy massive boxes of butter from Azure Standard. We buy our raw organic cheese from Azure Standard in bulk. All of my, you know, beans and lentils and our rice and our flour, we're getting all of that bulk from Azure Standard, and it makes a lot of sense when you break down that price per ounce. However, for some of the smaller things, it actually is quite a bit more expensive. So unfortunately, we can't just do our monthly drop from Azure Standard. We are still having to go to the grocery store. Usually we're trying to go to Costco because we can still buy in bulk for a cheaper price, and they have really good organic, all natural options as well. And then we are buying some things from Thrive Market. And so really we're just trying to avoid going to the grocery store every single week, trying to buy in bulk, but that looks like for our family buying in bulk from a few different places, just to make sure we have that price point and that dollar point that we're comfortable with on groceries. So if you've been looking into buying in bulk to save money, I'm going to be doing a lot of content on that. I'm going to share with you guys what I get from Costco, what I get from Azure Standard, but right now I'm just going to kind of share with you guys how I am, you know, sourcing my pantry, figuring out what I even need to order. Now everyone's budget's different, right? Like if you have a dairy animal, then maybe you're able to make your own yogurts and cheeses and things like that. For me, I don't, so I'm buying milk from the dairy, I'm having to buy bulk butter, I'm having to buy, you know, some of my bulk dairy needs. But for us, we grow a lot of our produce, and so I'm not really sourcing out hardly any produce and vegetables unless it's for a specific thing and I don't grow that thing. And so you're gonna have to figure out what your strengths are, what are the things you're gonna have to source out. But I do encourage you, get some sort of system. It doesn't have to be maybe as anal as this, you know, pantry inventory that I'm doing here. But I found that if I don't do this, we're making quick stops at the store frequently, and it's really making our grocery budget increase just because convenience, right? And so Nathan and I are trying to be super intentional with buying monthly, super intentional with figuring out what we actually need, buying enough for the specific meals that we plan on making, snacks, lunches, etc., just to cut down our cost and not have as many frequent trips to the grocery store. So right now I'm doing kind of my assessment, and I'm just going to share with you guys what I'm doing. So first we're going to do canned goods. So let's hop to this side of the pantry, kind of look at what we have and figure out what else we're going to need. All right, so I am buying for December, and I have on here at the top of my list holiday baking. So I know that I am doing all of the holiday baking. Christmas is going to be at our house this year, and so when I'm buying in bulk and I'm buying for that next month, I do need to keep into account and just kind of figure out, do I want to go through my reserves or do I just want to buy some other things for that? So I have a ton of diced tomatoes here, which is great. I've got chutney up there. I've got these tomatoes that I have dehydrated and then soaked in these different olive oils, so that's gonna be, you know, really fantastic. I've got some pickled okra here, which would be nice for a charcuterie board. I've got some pepperoncinis I can pull out. So when it comes to like those types of things, I think I'm good. But if I'm thinking about different types of beans, something along those lines, I don't know that I am that great. So I've got a few packs of Great Northern beans here, and I've got my bulk Azure Standard stuff, but I do know that I am wanting to make a gumbo, and I'm also wanting to make this white bean soup. And so I'm gonna add on my canned goods, which would probably be like bulk from Azure, and so I'll just write that on there. Another thing for canned goods that we have a hard time sourcing, we always have to buy in bulk, that is our coconut cream. So we use coconut cream for almost everything. I use this in all my Indian dishes. I use this when I'm making homemade Alfredos. I do like this really lovely, it's like a cashew coconut cream Alfredo base. It's so good. It's even like vegan friendly, which is nice. And so we use a lot of this. I know I'm gonna be making a lot of my own sauces for various different things. And so I need to put coconut cream on here for sure. And for me, when I'm trying to figure out how much to buy, when it comes to the things that I know have a long shelf life, I'm gonna put more because I'd rather have more than have to run to the store, and the stores that we have close to us don't actually carry coconut cream. This is a hard thing for me to source in my area. So I'm gonna put coconut cream, and I'm gonna do 10. So we're usually buying these in pretty bulk because I just don't ever want to run out of them. But as far as that, I have a lot of canned goods that I think will be fine if I'm making different soups or sauces. We also have downstairs that is completely full of just reserve stuff as well. So I know I've got like my tahini sauce, which I would use this to make various sauces. We're good on that. I'm good on all my oils and balsamics, which would be used for reductions and things. So other than that, I think for the canned goods, I'm actually pretty good. There's not a lot that I would need, and I can just, you know, jot down the few different beans, coconut cream. Other than that, I think I'm pretty good. So now I'm moving on to fruits. So you know, it's so hard as a grower. There's so many things I can grow, but then there are so many things that I can't. And unfortunately, fruit is one of those that I do not grow. We are really wanting to put an emphasis on getting our orchard in place because we do spend a lot of money on fresh fruit, but then also dried fruit. So this is my dried fruit. The kids take this for snacks a lot. We're also, you know, throwing some of this stuff in different smoothies. And so I've got a half a bag of raisins, which I know is not gonna last. So I'm gonna put raisins on my list. Alrighty, so for my mango, I've got this big bag and then some over here, so I think that that's enough. I have some plantain chips, which should last. The kids don't eat this that often. And then with the figs, that's a pretty decent amount. So I just need some raisins. I am out. I keep my dates in these smaller jars where the kids can get to them, and I am completely out. I eat dates often as a snack, so do the kids. So I need some pitted dates. I'm gonna put on here just a large bag, and then I can go in and kind of break it up. And then let's see. I've got plenty of goji berries here. We just top these on salads or in smoothies, so I'm good there. All right, so for nuts and seeds, I kind of keep them all displayed here. So it looks like I'm pretty close to running low on pumpkin seeds. So we'll put that here. Brazil nuts, I've got another bag downstairs. My cocoa nibs, however, I'm running short on, and I'm going to be using these a lot for baking. So add that to the list. I've got almonds. This is all the cashews I have, and I have a reserve bag of pistachios, so I know I need some raw cashews. Okay. I've got granola. These are just kind of the kids' fruit bars, so we've just got like Lar bars here, which we actually have these on a subscription that come in because it's cheaper to do it that way, but that's not gonna last. So I'm gonna just make sure that I double my subscription order. And then I typically always have enough, you know, like I said, rice, lentils, things like that. So we've got this short grain rice here that's also broken up into these smaller half-gallon jars. I've got 3 of these. I've got a massive thing of couscous, which we will use. I've got almond flour. I've got oats. I also have a really big thing of jasmine rice down here. So this is like a 25-pound bag, so I have plenty of that. Go through and I look, so I'm almost out of apples. I only have a few onions left, not very many sweet potatoes. And then I definitely want to look in my baking basket since I know I'm going to be doing so much baking in December. So I've got baking soda, baking powder, I've got coconut powder, I've got some vanilla extract, I've got some baking chips, I've got more organic vanilla extract, I've got more baking chips in here. So I think all I'm gonna need here is just like some bulk cane sugar and coconut sugar. And then there are a few other staples that I am always keeping the pantry packed. Even if I have some on the shelf, I'm still ordering more. And that is coconut milk and coconut water. And so we've got our coconut milks back here. It looks like I've got 6 on the shelf, but I'm using these for sauces. I'm using these for smoothies for the kids. And so I'm always keeping this on hand just for cooking. And so I'm gonna go ahead and order more of that. I always wanna keep broth in stock. I do make broth. I make it often, but not enough for as much as I use it. I'm using chicken broth, chicken stock, vegetable broth, vegetable stock, in so many of my dishes that I always wanna make sure I have that on hand. And I also just think that's a good staple to have in your pantry. So I'm just gonna put broths on here and then some more coconut milk. And then I always keep coconut water. Now another thing I'm always keeping on hand, because one, we love to drink it, but we put this in a lot of our smoothies when I'm blending up some different fruits for the kids, and that is coconut water. I buy this in bulk at Costco. It is the most cost-effective way I have found to buy it. I've sourced from other places, and so I am always keeping this. It like lasts forever. So I've got, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. I know that the kids are going to be home for Christmas break. And so that's one of the kids' go-tos for breakfast. And so I'm going to go ahead and buy another one of these. And then we don't do sodas, but we do sparkling waters. And so it looks like I'm running low. I have maybe 8 over here. So I'm going to add some sparkling water. We have plenty of peanut butter. You know, I can make, if I can find a good deal on bulk apples, I'll make my own applesauce. If not, these little, you know, Kroger organic brand works great to throw in lunches, but we do like to try to buy bulk jars because it is the most cost-effective way to do that. However, it's not always convenient when you're trying to pack different lunches. All right, and then a few other things I certainly never want to run out of, especially during the holiday season, is all my flour. So behind me, we've got 50-pound bags of all sorts of flours. So your bread flours, your all-purpose flours. I even have like specialty flours, pastry flours. So this is like a whole wheat flour. I buy these in 10-pound bags. I've got like a pumpkin flour, like just all sorts of, you know, crazy flours that I might potentially want for some sort of wild recipe. I'm gonna keep on hand. Want to make sure that we have a ton of salt, so we buy this in bulk from Redmond's. And usually these are things that I'm having to reorder, you know, not every month. I'm ordering these every 6 months or so. And if you can find those things that you can do that, I find it super helpful. And then another thing that you won't find in our pantry, but we are buying bulk of, is frozen fruit. Especially this time of year. Fruit's not in season, right? So when you're going to the grocery store and you're buying strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, it's obviously like not in season. And so those things do not last very long, especially if you're buying, you know, organic. By the time they get to us and we put them in our refrigerators, they're gonna last a few days and then they're gonna go bad, and they're already super expensive because you're buying out of season, which typically we don't like to do. I really encourage people, eat seasonally, eat within season. And for vegetables, we totally do. But for fruits, it's a little bit harder because that's a large base of my children's diets. And so I try to be a accommodating to that. And so we just buy organic frozen fruit and we pull it out for different smoothies. Certain things we can even pull out and the kids can just eat for breakfast or snacks. And it really makes a lot of sense for us to buy it in bulk because we were going through such high volumes of that at a time. So I definitely recommend doing that. But I'm doing this today because we get asked a lot what we eat. I told you guys I'm going to be doing more content on what I eat in a day, how we're buying bulk for our family, how we're saving money, being on a budget, and raising and growing a lot of our own food. But we still do have to buy from the grocery store. That is just a complete reality of our life. And honestly, I feel like to some capacity we will always have to. But there are ways to buy in bulk and to save money, and you can buy organic, good, wholesome food, and it's not going to completely break the budget if you plan accordingly. So one, I set myself up with a grocery budget. Like I mentioned, I think keeping inventory of your pantry, that way you have a good idea and a good list. Now, I kind of went through this with you guys, but as I'm going through and I'm pulling things out and cooking, I'm going in and I'm adding to that, right? It's a great way to assess too, right? So let's say last month I went through 5 cans of coconut cream, but I know I'm going to have people over for the holidays. I'm probably going to be making a bit more homemade sauces and things of that nature. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double that and I'm going to put 10. But you can know what to order and how much you use and don't use based off what you did the previous month and kind of how you're changing your cooking styles. This time of year, we're eating a lot of soups, a lot of gumbos, a lot of hearty chilies and things like that. Not as many salads and just fresh, light, quick meals, just because it's colder and we really just want to kind of hunker down and eat those hearty meals this time of year. So I'm really, stocking up on broths and things like that. All those beans, things I would throw into a gumbo, making sure I have enough diced tomatoes. So again, you're going to assess what your family's eating. But I do find keeping this in the pantry makes it super, super helpful for me to not overspend, have a clear idea. And then I can also too, once you know what the prices are, you can kind of calculate up what you're going to spend before you ever go into the grocery store. And then you can know if you have any wiggle room for something that maybe is on sale that you want to grab, or, maybe there was a good deal on your beans. And so you're going to double what you would usually buy. And I just find that doing this, 1, keeps you organized, 2, keeps you on budget and allows you to buy good food at an affordable price. All right, you guys, I have to get busy heading to the grocery store, buying all this lovely stuff, placing my Azure Standard order because the pickup is in just a few days. But I hope this was helpful on kind of just showing you my pantry, how I assess inventory to buy bulk for my family. I will also show you guys, when I get all these in kind of the haul that I got, if you will, so I can share that with you guys. Pantry's not beautiful. My pantry's not really organized. It's kind of just messy, but it feeds my family well because I am going in with a plan and I'm somewhat organized. And so I hope that if you are kind of looking on organizing this part of your life, that this was helpful and just shows you that if I can do it and it can be so kind of just like streamlined, when I pull something out, I'm writing it down on the list, go back through assess, spend a day just kind of checking inventory in the pantry, that this can be a really easy task. I actually really love grocery shopping. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I know not all of us are like that. But I hope that this was helpful. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you soon.